Okay, looks like we're back online. So my grandmother decided to blow a fuse because she wants to try out her new vacuum cleaner. Except she plugged the vacuum into the outlet with already 19 things plugged into it because she also just put up all of the Christmas decorations.
I see.
Boy, I love how late 90s that was. We got a new vacuum. Oh, there goes the breaker.
Anyway, where did I cut out at?
Conventional relationships. Or unconventional relationships, sorry.
Right, the unconventional relationships and the power dynamic. So I really fucking hate it when power dynamic shit gets brought up, because most of the time it's like sort of yeah, but at the same time not really. But in this situation, I'm sorry, but these are a bunch of 13-year-olds and one of them is a devil with superpowers. There's probably gonna be a power scaling relationship.
Not only that,
there,
one
yeah.
of them can quite literally put a magic chess piece in the other and force them to do their will.
Yeah, there is that too, and that person also happens to be related to the most powerful devil
We
in
have
existence.
a very specific word for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
When someone doesn't get to control their actions and doesn't have a choice.
Now, I will say, that was possibly, well, it's not just control their actions, it's more of the implied threat of you have to do shit or we kill you. They can't actually, like, make your body do things.
I mean, threat of bodily harm does still count, at least in a court of law in the US.
Yes, I meant more along the lines of you still have autonomy, it's just your autonomy is do what they say or die.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do technically have a choice, but since that choice is death...
Yeah.
Well, the specific term you're looking for is ultimatum.
Yeah. Now there was one story that I was quite interested in, and I'm quite angry that Argentorum never got around to actually writing. Is Taylor, post Golden Morning, gets a devil piece shoved into her by Rias after she dies in front of Rias because Contessa pushes her through a portal into the DxD verse in front of Rias.
I see.
And Taylor is not super enthused by the master relationship she now has with Rias.
You do say?
Yeah.
Can't imagine why.
And it actually had a great 3 chapters that were really, like, they were fantastic, and I was like, oh shit, I am so pumped to see where this goes. Of course, being an Argentorum story, you obviously know that it's dead as fuck now because the dude took the money and ran and went off to go write his own original story. Yeah. Then there was the other one where it was Taylor in My Hero Academia, who still had her mind controlling power from post Golden Morning.
Oh, that's a problem.
So she lived inside a box in the unforeseen situations joint thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the villain attack occurred, and she's like, all right, well, time to put people in their fucking place.
Time to put you people back in your boxes.
As the Taylor do.
Taylor eye glows. So yeah. Updated 2 chapters of a Worm Edge Runner fic. Honestly, not. Yeah, I'm not super interested in Cyberpunk Worm. Yeah, it's not doing it for me. I think
there's just not a lot there.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit unnecessary. It doesn't really add too much. It's like, oh, she can control bugs in Cyberpunk. Wow, yeah, that's something.
No, you're not seeing the big picture. You have the bugs infest their cyberware and eat them from the inside out. Did you know? Do you know what roaches do to electronics?
Oh, do you know what ants do to electronics?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even look
No,
at it.
and I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just the point is more like, oh wow, cyberpunk worm. It's like Worm, but with sci-fi. Oh, this is real different.
Like, oh no, horrid. The living conditions are horrible. The cities are corporate hellscapes.
Population is on decline and everything's getting worse. Oh wow, it's like we never fucking left Worm.
It's an improvement.
It kind of is, honestly, but at the same time, it's just...
I mean, yes, barely, but yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like... Whew. There is almost nothing that a story like that could contribute between Worm or Cyberpunk. It's like, oh wow, dystopias are dystopias, ho ho.
Haha, hee hee, ho ho.
I mean, it's the worst that happens. Adam Smasher becomes a level 10 brute. If he wasn't already.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming because what Argentorm typically does is he does post Golden Morning Taylor ends up in X universe. So that'd be post Golden Morning Taylor ends up in Cyberpunk 2077, specifically during the Edge Runner era, which happens before the video game.
I'm aware.
Like a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2-3 months at most.
So my issue with this is that Worm was all about dystopias and power and government struggles and, you know, fiefdoms and gangs and all that shit, and, you know, basically certain aspects of society taking representation in natural disasters and how we create our own doom and shit. And there is no new topics to tread on when it comes to Cyberpunk.
No, there's really not.
It's literally, it's like, alright, time to write Worm, but now with a sci-fi flavor.
Yeah. Not, as you said, there's not much to add to the
I
conversation.
mean, Worm's already
like,
got that
fuck.
sci-fi flavor in
Dude.
it. Just look at your Tinkers.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you can even have fucking superpowers in Cyberpunk by being like, yeah, you got an experimental Miltech grade cyberware. And it's so good, it lets you basically stop time. That's how much it juices your brain.
That was such bullshit.
Not really. They did show that military grade Sandevastans are absurd.
Okay, yeah, but based on what I've read, apparently they just made that shit up out of whole cloth, and it doesn't actually work like that in the source material.
Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that at all in source material, no.
I mean, you can use it to, like, you know, headshot a few guys real quick, but you can't use it, like, to become the motherfucking Flash.
No.
Yeah, but either way, it's you have that option because they've left that option there. Now it's like, oh, you found some like you found some fucking data and you scraped it together, and oh wow, look at that, you got a daemon now, and it's like some legendary daemon that everyone thought was lost, and it's like capable of cracking any security or something. It's basically their fucking superpowers, and you can put them in your goddamn story. It's like finding these one-of-a-kind little tips and bits and tricks is like basically the key part of writing a cyberpunk character arc. because that's what makes your cyberpunk character interesting, is they find something unique in the world that was either lost, forgotten, or just developed, and they happenstanced upon the tech or something.
Oh, I found this super experimental pistol. Bang bang.
Or it's like finding a Skippy, It's like,
Oh
oh,
God, Skippy.
it's like the tech was developed, it was stolen, and then it was going to get sold to someone, except the person got shot on the way there by not even a gangbang, but they were actually shot by two other groups shooting at each other, and they got hit in the crossfire, coincidentally, and then they died in the alley. And you just happen to find it. Like, you don't need it to be like this whole like targeted series of dominoes. It could just be like, oh yeah, I was just walking by this alley and there was a dead dude there holding a briefcase, and I wanted to see what was inside it, and now I have this talking fucking gun.
Yeah, but V finds so many of those, it's just fucking improbable.
Right, obviously, because you're a video game character and they wanted to make sure they included a special, unique, special thing for every special little snowflake character build. But if this was like a campaign, as it is pen and paper back in the day, then the DM would probably include one special thing for you all in the party.
Yeah. Okay, we have a ranger in the party. We'll have exactly one kick-ass bow.
Yeah, like a super special bow just happens to show up at some point, and the ranger gets it. We have the fighter over there, and he gets like this really cool battle axe that like teleports back to his hand or something. And the warlock finds some sort of ancient eldritch blast spell variation, and it lets him shoot acid or some shit. Like, I don't fucking know.
He just finds the bracers that are already in the DMG that let him shoot eldritch blast twice per turn.
Right, exactly. And he gets 4 of them, and now he can shoot it 10 times per turn, because that's how that works, right?
I mean, listen, Drizzt strapped, what was it, the bracers of speed that are meant for your arms to his feet, so he could fucking, like, Chun-Li
Gotta
kick
go
people.
fast. And then there was Jarlax, and Jarlax is the reason why a magic item cap was implemented in 3.5.
Yeah, we ignored that.
Yeah, of course. Any good 3.5 party just ignored the magic item cap. Unless you're in 5e and every fucking DM's like, no, you can't have more than 2 magic items. That goes over your soul bond limit.
I mean, okay, hang on. Okay, I don't like what 5e does with its 3 attunements. I don't like that. But I never found 3.5's limit system particularly onerous. Like, come on, it was so weak as to basically be non-existent.
I know, it was so non-existent no one paid attention to it.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, don't act like it was some trial from God.
Well, no, see, the thing is, it was like, oh, you can only wear 1 magic belt, you can only wear 2 magic rings, you can only wear 1 magic necklace. I mean, honestly, 3.5 basically set forth the system that literally every fucking video game uses. That's kind of cool. But, it was a system like, but then you got a bunch of 3.5 people who came from usually 3.0. Who were like, well, wait a second, why can't I only wear 2 rings? Why can't I wear 10 rings? I have 10 fucking fingers. Technically speaking, I can wear 20 rings because I have 10 toes as well. And that's when the DM looks at them and goes, well, actually, your feet are now molasses. So fuck you.
That's some bullshit.
I mean, look, man, there was some shit that people pulled back in the day, like the Gatling gun
I remember
wizard.
one DM, his solution to that was that you had to periodically remember to remove them from your toes, or you were going to start losing toes to blood loss.
Fair.
And I was like, you know what? Fair.
I mean, there's like the Gatling gun wizard is possibly my favorite 3.5 build.
Listen. Whoever decided that Magic Missile could be free cast and give it 2 meta magics at the same time was an idiot. A fun idiot, but an idiot.
A genius, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I cast 81 separate instances of magic missile. They all shoot 7 missiles.
Jesus
I
Christ.
end my turn. Oh, God. Personally, I don't like spell slots. I never liked the idea of spell slots. I always thought it was really dumb. I always thought the point system was way fucking better because I always thought it was extremely silly that it was like, oh, I have a slot. Oh, yeah, I'm strong enough to get a new slot now. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was
It's like, just make it so it's like, oh yeah, well the reason why the sorcerer has like 12 casting points but can't cast a 4th level spell which costs 10 casting points is because he's too weak to cast the spell without it backfiring and hurting him or something. And then you can
That's
just like,
fucking dumb.
well, no, that's how you do it. It's like, and then when he reaches level 6, he can cast the 4th level spell without it hurting him, and it's fine.
Right, and he has different magic requirements than anybody else because everybody else is cheating on their way to magic power.
I personally liked the spell pool idea, the spell point pool idea for every class way more than the spell slot idea. I did not like spell slots. I've never liked spell slots. I dislike the idea of spell slots in general. I just thought it was very silly. Why can't I just do 3 casts of Fireball? Why can't I only do 1 cast of Fireball, 3 casts of Acid Splash, and 7 casts of Firebolt? Like, why can't I just do 3 Fireballs? Oh, well, you don't have spell slots. It's like, what the fuck's a spell slot?
Welcome to Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, it's just there's just stuff that I just don't get, man. I don't get. So anyway, will you be my boyfriend? That's how this story starts. She asked. Harry was thrown. Oh well, I guess Harry's flying now. As the dark-haired girl asked him a question, he thought was completely out of nowhere. Well, I mean, it was very much out of nowhere since you gave us absolutely no context as to what the fuck is going on. So low blow, author. He had been walking home from school, and then she appeared from nowhere. Also, nowhere is a single word. You're saying that she did not appear. That's it. You're saying that she did not appear. So she's not there. She's a Bethesda NPC.
Oh, Jesus.
You're not real, brother. She cannot harm you.
It just starts to, just randomly out of nowhere, a dialogue window fucking opens up, and the air
It's like when you teleport into town and the guard appears behind you. Halt, criminal scum!
Bing!
T-pose for dominance.
I'm sorry, but I have to decline. The girl seemed shocked that he rejected her. Sorry, but I don't date. It's nothing against you personally. I'm just an incel. I'm sorry, no, that's not what he said. I just have family commitments that won't allow me to be a good partner in a relationship, says the 13-year-old.
That's something a 13-year-old would say.
Yeah, that's a very 13-year-old line to tell another girl. I mean, we can also assume that maybe he's in high school now because he is going to go to the high school of DxD. So I still don't see a teenager saying this ever.
I've seen teenagers jumping right between them titties and motorboating them, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
The Issei route is the most true to a teenager there is.
I mean, I want to say that you're wrong, but
I'm not.
Line break. Harry unlocked the front door and entered his house. As he entered the house, the ward signaled that the house was still secured. God damn it, brain. My brain is just like, the house was secured, because the house checks if it's not secured, so that's how it knows it's secured, by first checking if it's not secured.
if house unsecured, then house not secure. End loop.
Makes
No,
sense.
it's my brain was basically just doing a rendition of how the missile knows where it is. The missile knows where it is by first checking where it isn't.
Yes.
It knows where it isn't by checking where it is.
These are self-referential. Hey, wait.
He yawned and placed his homework on the table as he waved his hand, and the pen stood up and wrote his homework for him as Harry spoke the answers out loud. When the pen recorded his answers, Harry walked around the kitchen making dinner for himself. The fireplace started to flicker and the green flame burst out of the fireplace. Harry walked over to see Cyrus Black's face in the fire. Hey, Padfoot. Hey, Pop. Just checking in on you. Cyrus smiled. How's it back at school? Harry shrugged. About the same building, same amount of work. Also had a girl ask me out. Whoa. Did you say you got asked out? Yes, Cyrus, Harry sighed. And you didn't say no? Cyrus smirked. No, Cyrus. What did you say? I said no. Was she ugly? No. Harry, you need to learn to live your life. Go on a date. Will not kill you. Ha ha ha. Ha
Foreshadowing.
ha. A new start by Cyrus, blah blah blah, Cyrus. I had a feeling she was like the others, just like the others. No, she felt eviler. So not like the others. No, not like the others. She came out of nowhere and didn't. I think we've read this story before, unfortunately. Alright, let's go back to ignoring it.
Thank God.
Well, here's a story that Sign would be interested in. So this is called Lesbian Erotic Planet.
What? No, it's not.
Well, what do you mean it's not? You're telling me this is not a story you would be invested in?
I'm telling you, no, there's no way it's called that, 1 and 2. I absolutely would not.
It is called that. It's on screen.
It is quite
Yeah,
literally
I got bad news
called
for you,
that.
man. It's called.
It's also rated M, so there's a very good chance that this is TOS.
Okay, look, has anybody else seen Emo?
No.
No.
My little sister can't be this cute.
No.
No.
So one of the main characters, the female main character of the story, writes a story that is basically this: my star lesbian planet of little girls.
You are
bullshit.
cutting in.
I'm so glad his mic is cutting out right now.
The internet is protecting us from your foul
His
words.
sheer excitement is actively eroding his internet.
God damn it!
Truly, Internet Explorer Sean is protecting us even now, Sneaky.
Indeed.
Even though we've rejected her.
Indeed. So we have a lesbian erotic planet, which is, imagine what will happen if the women and the girls found themselves in the world that is full of lesbians. After hearing the mysterious stories of having gorgeous women and adorable girls being the vanished, Rias and the girls have no choice but to solve the mysteries. However, that world is much more weird than they thought. A Can Cole High School DxD crossover.
The hell?
What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Not expecting that as the crossover here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, up next, I have something we can actually read. We have Fallout High School DxD.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Yes, you're right. Some of the members of the DxD team decided to go camping. Sona told Saji to get a circle ready, and by capitalized mistake, he transported them into Fallout. That is somehow
That's a hell of a mistake, lad!
that is not connected to the biblical god system, and instead they met a world full of radiation. Then a boy, capitalized A, comes to them and offers to help. Can they really trust him, or will they die in the wasteland? OC times Sona times Ravel, Issei Harem.
Magic, how would they even die?
I would like to, yes. I would also like to point out, first off, that this chapter to word ratio is about 1,000 words per chapter.
Oof.
And it's taken him a month to get to 8,000 words.
Oof.
Yeah.
Maybe he's really busy on all the other stories he's writing.
Yeah. No. So I have multiple issues with this story. My first issue is, unfortunately, unlike a lot of other series, DxD explicitly is anti-crossover in this fashion.
Yeah, because of the Great Red and the dimensional barrier.
Exactly, yeah. Explicitly, it is to prevent things from coming in and out. Now, a lot of these stories where the crossover occurs, either it's already taking place on the world because it was a fusion, or alternatively, a very powerful character like Zelrich, an Elder God, or, some really fucking strong people, they manage to punch a hole in the dimensional barrier and they get in.
Or just somebody lucky stumbles straight through it. Either way.
Right. There is a lot of circumstances that would allow characters into the DxD verse, not so many that allow them out, because to get out of the DxD verse, you have to first basically fight the Great Red. Which...
Wasn't that the entire thing the Hero Brigade or whatever was wanting to do?
Yes. The Great Red is so strong that he is not on the power rankings because he is the Dragon of Dreams, meaning he is as strong as Dreams.
And then there's Ophis.
And then there's Ophis, and he's stronger than Ophis.
No, he's not.
I mean, strong enough to pick her out of the fucking gap.
Yeah, but she wasn't trying. The Dragon of the Infinite, whose power is literally infinite.
Yeah, and
she wasn't trying.
And Dreams beat Infinity.
Sorry, but the way you said that sign sounded like a massive amount of coke.
It is massive. You are
Just-
huffing. You are
It's just
cracking
the way you
open
delivered
some...
it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go grab some copium so I can keep up with you.
I don't know shit about DxD aside from Issei's a little shithead. But that delivery was not in your favor.
Piss off. I don't know enough about DxD to hate most of it, okay?
Alright, so I grabbed some copium.
Fuck you, Sneaky.
Okay, now I'm starting to see his point.
If you get a copium, you snort or the can you drink.
It's just some ginger beer. But no, the reason why I say the Dragon of Dreams is greater than Infinity is specifically because Infinity is a concrete concept, while Dreams are more of a ephemeral nature. And by the sheer fact that someone can dream of something bigger than Infinity.
Or Infinity itself dreams.
Or that Infinity dreams as well, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still one of those. Infinity plus one, infinity plus a million, infinity plus infinity kind of bullshit arguments.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the children at the park screaming, "My cool thing is better than your cool thing."
Exactly.
Yeah, except that, see, that's the thing, though, is, like, Infinity is the kid that shouts, "I shoot my sky laser at you," but the Dreams is the kid that shouts the counter for everything Infinity shouts. So it's like, technically, Red is not stronger than Infinity, but also technically Infinity is not stronger than Red, but they're also not equal power. It's just that Infinity can never beat Dreams, because anything Infinity can come up with, Red has a counter for it, because if it can be conceived, then an opposite exists. So it's really dumb. And then the author kills them both with his Cthulhu OCs.
I see.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, in the sequel EXE, which is supposed to be like extra times extra or something, Issei goes to college and Dreams and Infinity both die to the invading Cthulhu Lovecraftian horrors.
And it says here, Fex Valley.
Apparently that's not canon.
Thank fuck.
Wasn't EXE non-canon? Well, it was written by the same author.
That doesn't mean it's canon.
Well, I mean, no, it doesn't, but it's not canon the same way Boruto is not canon. It's just the fans don't accept that it is.
Really?
Which, don't get me wrong, I got a whole bottle of copium right in front of me, and I can completely accept that Boruto is not canon.
The only good thing about Book is the myth designs for the girls.
The only part of that entire sentence that Discord allowed you to say was "for the girls."
Yeah, that's all I got.
I understood enough to know what he was saying,
Really?
but
Fucking Discord.
certainly
Discord was not
a thing
appreciative
it's-
of your words.
It's certainly a thing he said.
I think I also heard the word MILF in there at one point.
Yes,
Yes.
I believe that's what he was saying was the only good thing about Boruto.
I see. Fair enough. So anyway, let's go into this garbage story. Let's see what the views are. The premise is interesting, but you're moving way too fast, and the suspension of disbelief is unreal, from both the DxD people and the Fallout MC. There's just too much happening, and people are constantly just accepting it. It's unrealistic and a little bit of cliche. Oh, really? That's the unrealistic part. So again, this comes back to the whole dimensional gap thing. There's a lot of characters that I could suspend my disbelief as to how they ended up through the dimensional gap, breaching the dimensional barrier, and ended up in another universe. Saji fucking writing a magical circle wrong is not one of them.
You say doing it maybe.
Issei doing it likely.
No, I can see
Yeah.
Issei. No, I can see Issei writing the circle wrong, and then him using his boosted gear on it at like times 16 or something, because he's like, I gotta make up for my weak magical power, so I'll just boost the circle, and that should get us all home. And I can see
Yeah, I
that.
can absolutely see that.
Yeah, I can see that teleporting them to like fucking some other universe. That I could buy. Saji fucking writing a circle roll, I cannot buy that breaching the dimension. If it was that fucking easy,
Everybody would have done it. And
Yeah.
Saji is like the most useless fucking character in that series.
Pretty much. Oh, wow. So apparently, according to this one reviewer, the reason why all of the devils might die in the Fallout verse is because they all lost their superpowers of being devils because they were no longer in the DxD world, so they stopped being racist.
What's funny is we know there are Cthulhu horrors in the Fallout universe.
Yeah.
So, magic. Someone summons the Cthulhu horror with a Cthulhu ritual. Magic is real.
You take negative sand damage.
You take a lot of negative sand damage.
That doesn't make it not real. It just makes it a terrible idea.
Oh, absolutely.
I forget which game it was, but I'm pretty sure that there was in one of the games, if you drank a bunch of alcohol before going on the Dunwich quest of that game, you like could bypass some of the shit that goes on. Cause you're like too drunk for the like visions to affect you or something.
Yeah, I mean, normally those visions would mess with me, but I'm seeing triple right now, so haha, funny Cthulhu.
I'm seeing triple and already hallucinating, so...
Oh, I must be drunk. There's nothing to blame this on but being drunk.
That wall has tentacles. Somebody spiked me drink.
That wall has tentacles. Kinky.
Knew that was coming.
That wall has tentacles. Mary Slaneshmiss.
This should be pretty easy, Saji says, as he directs his magic into the circle while his master, Sona Citri, and her queen, full name. Ah, yes, because Saji is the sort of person who just full name drops everyone as he's thinking about them.
I mean, he is a weirdo.
Maybe.
And a simp.
So when he finishes the circle, instead of the Citri family crest appearing in the circle, which is part of the circle design. Now keep in mind, so this is another little bit of DxD lore here. The circles are like all teleportation circles aren't the same. The teleportation circle is literally the clan marker in a teleportation ring thing.
Yep.
I see.
Like, so it's like, you know, it's like, say the teleportation part of the spell is like the Jewish star, but then you put your own personal stamp inside of it that makes it teleport you to your place.
But no, not quite. It's more like the inside is what it's built off of. That's your personal seal, and the shit around it is what makes it do the thing.
Right. But you understand my point, though, where it's like, if you were going to fuck up any part of the circle, it would be the part of the circle that isn't your crest. Which would change the spell, which would not teleport you anymore. It would, I don't know, fucking shoot a rock spike into your nuts.
Kinky?
Explode at the speed of light.
But either way, point being is that instead the author had Saji, instead of drawing the Sona Citri's logo in the teleport circle, he somehow accidentally instead drew a nuclear symbol.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a mistake.
Don't you hate it?
Somebody fuck with him?
Don't you hate it when
I'm not
you're
even
like,
mad. I'm impressed.
Don't you hate it when you're drawing a family crest and then you accidentally like cross over like 19 lines, and then you're suddenly drawing a magical nuclear symbol.
Yeah,
it
I gotta be
happens all the
real.
time.
Of all the idiotic things I've heard, this one takes the cake, yo.
And then
It takes a cake.
And then the author has Tsubaki go, "Oh, that is magical radiation symbol. This ain't gonna go well."
The magical radiation symbol, huh? You just have that lying around, do you, DXD?
Yeah.
I mean, Japan.
And then they yeah. And then the author proceeds to name everyone with their full names of who gets caught up in the teleportation explosion. And then the main character who has a mutant chimera as a pet.
Oh, he just has one of them, does he?
Yeah. And he feeds them mole rats. Whole mole rats.
That is some Fallout shit.
And then a giant flash appears in the distance, and he sees it a whole mile away. His name is Beast. Sorry, the pet's name is Beast. Or Snappy or something. For some reason, Beast is capitalized, so something's named Beast.
Bro, that's like naming your dog Spot. Get the hell out. I'm going to report you to the Fallout equivalent of PETA.
No, see, if you ever name something Spot, you have to name your hedgehog Spot, because Spot runs fast.
My personal favorite is Sneaky. My personal favorite is the Rancor named Fluffy.
Oh yes,
What?
yes, that's canon, by the way.
Very much canon.
A ranker named Fluffy.
You can thank Tiberzon for that.
Yep. Anyway, so he sees this flash and he just casually gets in his armor of steel, which is capitalized, and he picks up a minigun, which is modified in ways that we don't know, and he also grabs a magnum, which is also modified in ways we don't know, and a bladed sledgehammer.
That is pure Fallout trash, yes.
But why?
Because Fallout trash.
Because I need to make sure that it's really dead.
Yes.
Fucking bladed sledgehammer.
Then start strapping C4 onto the end of it. That will accomplish the job just as well, and it will be more fun.
Well, actually, it won't accomplish the job at all because C4 doesn't detonate on impact.
I mean, you could probably rig up an explosive blasting cap on the tip, but
well, the problem
is
that C4 needs both an electronic discharge and a blasting cap simultaneously.
Oh, yeah.
So, if anything, you would probably create the way easier method of just putting a packet of nitroglycerin on the front of your sledgehammer and then beating someone in the face with it.
Or why not, make shells, shotgun shells to put in the fucking thing.
My favorite is the 50 caliber sledgehammer. Have you guys ever seen the 50 caliber sledgehammer?
No.
I have. Yes, it's
so dumb.
That guy is cracked.
I have to reload my sledgehammer. You have to what?
Oh no, Sneaky, the better part was when he expanded it to a baseball bat.
Oh god.
To break batting records.
Yeah.
It went as well as you think.
I'm sure it did. Yeah, during his testing, he accidentally shot a hole in his roof.
I mean, at least he was testing properly.
Listen, man, the pandemic did some crazy shit to people.
Then he operated a lathe with his bare feet.
Sir.
Not now. To be clear, he didn't operate a lathe with bare feet, as in like he had bare feet while operating the lathe. I mean, he sat himself with his back on the stool and operated the lathe with the bare feet.
I think that's worse.
It is.
That man is something else. And likely an early death is in his future. But either way, Max, I can't hit the zombies. I have to reload my axe first.
Good old whatchamacallit.
Daisy.
Why can't I remember it? Daisy.
Daisy.
Like, I knew what you were talking
was-
about.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing when I first loaded into Daisy. It's like, oh, why does my axe have an ammo counter?
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Daisy in the Arma 2 days was very, very jank, especially early versions of it, and melee weapons weren't a thing in Arma yet. And so they just gave axes a point-blank range with 99 ammo.
Christ.
Which, of course, means that it was 100% possible to run out of swings.
Yeah.
It's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Well, it was
Hey,
a
man,
mod,
they,
my man.
They made do with what they had. They did a pretty good job, all things considered.
That they did. That they did. Anyway. So yeah, he goes and he looks at them and he's like, yo, them people are Asian and European. Because those are words that exist in Fallout.
Bruh, you don't even know that the guy from the Institute is Asian.
Yep.
And by the way, boy,
Wait.
wasn't that a
Hang
game change. They went from a bunch of secretive Chinese
Wait,
dissidents to white people.
no. Hang on. Your character in Fallout 4 is pre-war. How would he not?
Wait, was this Fallout 4 or Fallout?
The Institute's
3.
Fallout 4, is it not?
Yeah, Institute's
Oh, well,
Fallout 4.
then no, he should actually know those things.
No,
I was about to say, he was pre-war. He
this
should
is Fallout
totally
3.
have concept of... Okay.
Well, we did come from a...
Oh, Atin's gone.
No, I'm still
actually,
here.
wait. Yeah, no, shouldn't a Vault Dweller still know that because of history classes?
I mean, they might not... Here's the problem, Max. We don't know what they're being taught in those history
we actually
classes.
don't know what this MC is. We don't know if they're actually part of the Fallout quest chain. Or if they're just random generic Wastelander OC who's totally super badass.
Alright, yeah, that's fair. Well, I gotta say, if they're a courier, they're probably a badass by default, considering the shit couriers.
Oh, they're not a
deal with
courier.
in
They're
the-
living out of the Red Rocket gas station. So I'm not quite sure.
Oh, well.
Yeah, again, we don't know their background yet. So anyway, we have Asians, Europeans. One of them had red hair, and they're all wearing school uniform. And,
Okay, they definitely don't know what that is.
And that girl is wearing a medieval era outfit from the Renaissance.
Okay, well then this has to be a pre-war.
This is
I guess,
fucking
yeah.
stupid.
Well, it gets worse. So, and then he's like, "What the hell?" And then he saw another beast, same as his companion. Okay, so apparently his pet is a Deathclaw. That was never established at any point in time. And the author, by the way, I'm reading the author verbatim now. He then saw another beast the same as his companion. Author's note: to anyone who doesn't know what these beasts are, they are called Death Space Claws. Look them up. I'm not going to describe them.
Fucking lazy motherfucker.
The fuck is a Death Space Claw?
It's a death claw.
It's a death
Sneaky's
claw.
spitting out the space.
Yeah, it's a death claw,
What?
but he misspelled the animal name.
Oh, okay. You meant space. Okay.
Yeah, he spelt it death space claw instead of death claw.
Okay.
2 words,
that-
not 1.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest, I was hoping that there was some like wonky enclave experiment that resulted in death claws from space.
Oh no, that's
somehow.
the aliens.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be the aliens that did that.
Oh god.
There's actual aliens.
Oh yeah, did you not know
I
that?
I know there's actual aliens.
In what Fallout?
All of them.
3 and 4 at least.
What?
Yeah, did you not
3
know
has an
this?
entire DLC. And
Oh,
4 has Easter eggs where you can
only
get alien
played
or New
one of
Vegas
the newest
does.
ones.
Oh no, all of them have DLCs concerning aliens. Not all of them are focused on the aliens. Only Fallout 3 was the one focused on the aliens, but all of the Fallouts have mentions of the aliens.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well. Mothership Zeta? Fallout 3?
No.
Wow, okay.
No.
Anyway. Yeah, no, the whole alien reference thing has been a reference in all of the Fallout games since the first one. Yeah. And, how did you screw that up? Well, the magical nuclear trefoil was a surprise to me as well. So you were shocked that you drew a shape and then it turned out to be not the shape that you wanted to draw? And then the beast again. For some reason, he keeps calling Deathclaws beasts, but he refuses to call them Deathclaws.
Author's a dumbass.
He's gonna call them anything other than their species name. Shouldn't be calling them abominations
Yeah,
then?
lizards with claws, giant, abominable creatures, wendigos. I mean, there's a bunch of names that someone who's never seen one before could come up with that wasn't just the beast.
I'm a monster.
Yeah, even that. Which, honestly, anyone from DxD would likely end up calling a Deathclaw a monster because there's literal classifications of monsters in DxD.
Like a whatchamadu, a rogue devil.
Right, or even that. Like, it's like, oh shit, is that a rogue devil? Is that a monster? Is that a familiar? Like, there's literally whole sections of taxonomy with those names for these these sort of non-natural looking creatures. And so the last thing they would be calling it is the beast. Also, we have multiple point of view changes here. We're now a third-person omnipotent, but also from the perspective of the students. Arbitrarily, there was no mention of anything shifting. It's just we're now just doing it from the student's perspective. And so a stranger with strange minigun, apparently they know what a minigun is, but they also know enough about miniguns to call the minigun strange. Started shooting with capital letters, shooting at the beast as it roared at him, and then charged past the group. And to their surprise, it ran towards the person shooting it.
I mean, generally speaking, it is surprising when a large land predator runs at someone shooting at it.
Wow, yeah, this large land predator, which is an apex predator, is not running away from someone damaging it and is instead challenging them for the apex predator status. This is truly a shocking development of nature.
Yeah, no, bears run the fuck away if you shoot at them, generally.
Bears aren't apex predators either.
Those are apex predators. Kiss my ass.
They're
Largest
not.
land predator.
Apex, dude, bears eat majority berries, small fish, small game. Like,
Those are omnivores. They eat literally everything. They don't bring
yes,
down
they'll
deer.
eat literally everything, but they will prefer to go for fish, honey, berries. Like, fucking Christ, my dude.
Prefer, yeah.
Fucking, like, dude, fucking panda bears eat specifically the inside of bamboo.
That's a panda. It's debatable whether pandas are actually bears. They come out and said pandas aren't even fucking bears, my dude.
Dude, black bears eat a majority diet of berries.
Black bears are evil shits.
Well, yes, but they still eat a majority diet of berries. Like, just because they are big and lumbering and powerful doesn't make them an apex predator. A tiger is an apex predator. There's nothing that hunts a tiger.
But anything that hunts a bear.
Wolves?
No. Wolves don't fuck with bears. They'll run a bear off, but they won't actively engage with it.
Alright, that's fair enough. Things hunt elephants. They're not apex predators.
That's not. God damn it, Sneaky. I swear to God.
Do you want some more copium?
Just inject it straight into my veins at this point.
For some reason, shooting's capitalized again. The figure, which is also capitalized for some reason again, then just fucking spikes his minigun into the ground. And then brings out his sledgehammer to fight the... fight the Deathclaw in melee combat with his spiked sledgehammer.
Okay, well, we know that this is definitely a player character. Just only a player character. Be dumb not to do that.
With saw blades and barbed wire welded onto it.
Why?
Saw blades snap, you dumb bitch!
Barbed wire's just gonna fucking catch on everything.
Congratulations, you have the perfect weapon for making it angrier.
Yeah, barbed wire's not even gonna fucking cut it.
I don't think it's pretty. I'm pretty sure that's not going to penetrate at all.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that depends on if we're using barbed wire or concertina wire. They're two different animals.
That's true, that's true. Probably we're gonna... I'm gonna say it's likely gonna be,
Or barbed wire, because it's easier to find.
That's true, barbed wire would be easier to find, yeah.
I mean, you can just go down to the fucking Lowe's and get barbed wire. Everybody can get barbed wire. Concertina wire is what you find on top of fucking prisons and shit.
That's them hooked razor blades.
That is razor blades, yes. Military deploys that shit.
Yep.
That's the good stuff.
Oh, that's the very fun stuff.
And then he jumped into the air with power armor on and slammed the sledgehammer into the Deathclaw. Well, it's a Deathclaw now. They just know it's a Deathclaw now, despite calling it a beast for several sentences. It's just a Deathclaw now.
Just reasons.
Also, still of note is the author has yet to describe what a Deathclaw even looks like. So, as far as the audience is aware, he's just fighting a shadow. Yeah, a silhouette of a creature. And then it roared and slashed at the figure, which did nothing. Yeah, no, the Deathclaw didn't cut open the armor at all. Didn't even scratch the armor.
Yeah, it sounds like bullshit even with Fallout mechanics.
Yeah. And the group was surprised that the Metal Giant and Beast were duking it out. Oh, we're back to Beast. And they all knew they needed to help him, and they tried to use their abilities And they couldn't because they were drained of all magic, and magic doesn't exist anymore. Kid, this powers work. And then Issei is like, oh, what are you talking about, Dreg? And Dreg's like, oh, well, now that you've acknowledged I exist, I can now talk fully clearly without any interference at all whatsoever.
This is some shit.
Yeah. You're in a new world, and it's not connected to the biblical god system. This world has radiation. And your powers will no longer work here. Author's note. Issei can't use his booster's gear, but he can still talk to Dreg. End author's note.
Okay, so you can use the magic item to talk to the soul sealed inside the magic item, but that soul can't give you any power.
Yes.
No.
Shouldn't the soul disappear once they enter this world, in theory?
No.
Yeah.
The bindings on it would disappear.
Oh, yeah. And then you've got a dragon on your hands.
Yeah.
A very big, very angry, very pissed off dragon.
Technically speaking, the dragon would still be inside Issei's soul, and Issei probably would have to die first.
Issei would go splat.
Wait, I thought Drake was a pretty chill, like, it's deep for being a dragon.
Oh, yeah. No, they get pretty chill even early on with each other.
I mean, he wouldn't go, okay, sorry, kid, nothing personal, but I gotta get the fuck out of here.
He would probably at least wait for them to get back. Because he can't fight Albion if he's stuck here.
True.
Yeah. Fucking die, you mutated horned fuck. He wasn't using the hammer anymore. It was already in pieces. Yeah, no shit, because you were trying to use A, a sledgehammer on a Deathclaw. B, you welded shit onto the sledgehammer. So no shit, it fucking broke. And now it's just punching the Deathclaw. And then he grabbed the horns, and then he snapped the Deathclaw's neck because it was that easy. The whole time he could have just done that. And then he pointed at it and goes, stay down, Diablo. God, this is cringe.
If I'd known that all I needed to defeat Deathclaws was to spec all into melee, I'd have done that a lot sooner.
Never write again.
Yes, please don't.
Post review. See, do they have anything else? Have they written any other stories? No. They wrote a teaser story for their story.
What?
Yeah.
A teaser story? Do you mean like a prologue?
No, they wrote a second story called Fallout Devil Sneak Peek.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Who the fuck is Christopher Zale?
Who?
I don't know, the author calls him out specifically. See, here we go.
Is this a positive call out or a negative call out?
Yeah, this is a sneak peek of my friend's next fanfic. I did this for my friend, and my favorite Christopher Zale for updates. Fantastic fanfics from this guy. Well, you got me hook, Wayne. He shot Riser Ball. Can wait first chapter?
What?
Yeah.
Can you string that into legible English for me?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what the fuck? That's cringe. There's so much cringe. That author is cringe. Alright, so we're gonna end the night talking about a fanfic that I believe Aura brought up. No, he asked me about it. I don't know who brought it up, but Aura asked me about it, and I had to explain to him why the fanfic was so incredibly dumb. So,
What is this?
Are either of you familiar with Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Okay. Max, are you familiar with the Mass Effect?
Not overly familiar. I've seen
Alright.
a couple playthroughs. I know that Grunt is a precious boy and Garrus is everyone's go-to.
Yeah. Alright, so the Mass Effect, in Mass Effect, the, name for the series?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a big ol' warp drive thingamabob.
Sort of, but not really. So,
magic element.
the Mass Effect uses the magical element 0 because actually it has no protons or neutrons.
Magical element, yes.
Yeah. So it's a magical element that when electricity is applied to it, it can magically cause the mass of an object to drop to 0, despite all of the problems that would cause. It also
physics.
It also magically shields it from all of those problems. And then a ship that has the Mass Effect drive turned on, also arbitrarily the Mass Effect drives can also generate power despite needing power to do the whole Mass Effect thing, but don't worry about it. It's the magical catch-all for literally everything.
They're tiny magical fusion engines.
They're not tiny.
They're not fusion.
Yeah, I know they're neither, but...
So anyway, in this story, the premise of the story was a accident happens during a prototype testing of the Mass Effect drive for humanity. And humanity, instead of meeting up with the Turians out over Shanxi, instead managed to rescue the Council from the failed Yogg interaction. So the failed Yogg interaction was the Council finding a planet of, I believe they were industrial era, species, these massive hulking brutes, absolute units. They were carnivores, and they were creating immense wars on their planet, and the Council lands on this planet going, we'll uplift you all. Just be peaceful and harmonious with your fellow neighbors and everyone in the galactic community. And the Yogg respond by dismembering and eating all of the council members from the diplomatic party.
Yeah, the Yogg are basically the things Grunt is, except, nastier.
And bigger.
Nastier Krogans.
Yeah, they're like,
nastier.
if you took
I know
3
enough about
Krogans,
understand why that's a problem.
take 3 Krogans and line them up shoulder to shoulder, and that's about the size of a single Yogg.
20% mouth.
Yeah.
Now make them angrier.
And
no,
heal
still
faster.
angrier. No, still more angry. There you go.
Yeah, they're murderous and they heal faster. You literally at one point unload, they freehand a heavy machine gun at one point when fighting you.
Oh yeah.
And they also just eat bullets. They're just like, yeah, lol, you're shooting me. Your guns aren't gonna work on me. I am literally too big and I heal too fast for you to do anything.
Oh yeah, they regenerate, by the
I
way.
can see why these would be a problem.
Yeah. So anyway, the council dies, and the theoretical fanfiction of this story is that humanity's accident with the drive core propels them across the entire galaxy to the other side of the galaxy and back in time and forward in time. So they basically, so the Yog incident happened after humanity already entered the galactic stage, but they're retconning that to be in the past, and the humanity somehow ended up both about 100 times the distance of a normal Mass Effect range. So I'll get to explaining that in a second. But also, they went back in time. So, here's the problem with this. Mass Effect, despite its extremely magical nature, goes with the hard science route of explanation of the only thing the Mass Effect drive does is it lightens the object, which means that those engines that were like 10 bajillion horsepower to move your massive multi-ton spaceship, well, the multi-ton spaceship's no longer multi-ton, but those engines are still outputting the same amount of force. And so that is
an interesting problem.
And that's why you go so fast, and that's how you do the faster than light travel, air quotes, is because you now have these massive engines that now are just basically free pushing.
Okay, I dig that.
Right. And so while it's very magical and completely bullshitium, it's a hard science approach, and because it's a hard science approach, they also have other limitations. Like, they can only go so far due to the fact that going that fucking fast causes massive heat buildup.
Yep.
Which you then have to find a way to dump.
Which to do.
Which, again, this is another cool little bit, and I do really appreciate this, is they actually make a mention in the games that the best way to dump heat is to do a flyby on a planet's atmosphere and dump the heat into it.
Yep.
That sounds like an ecological nightmare.
Oh, it absolutely is. But that's actually one of the best ways to dump heat when you're in space, is to fly close enough to a planet with atmosphere and to just dump the heat into it.
That's why it's either specifically regulated at planets where you can dump drive heat, or, right, like the ideal ones are just big-ass gas giants.
Yeah.
You just go to whatever the local gas giant is, and you dump all the heat in there, because it literally won't matter.
Yeah. And so this is a process that limits how far you can travel in a single Mass Effect jump, due to the fact that, you know, your ship will be turned to molten slag if you don't.
One jump not using the relays.
Yeah, and not using the relays. The relays basically form a quantum tunnel that allow you to jump distances.
Yeah, but the relay thing is they have a fix. And then wasn't there something about building up like electricity that you have to discharge?
Yes. Yeah, there was also the fact that you weren't able to do the normal discharge because the Mass Effect core, when you're doing the whole Mass Effect thing, builds up electricity but also uses electricity, but it builds up more electricity than it uses. And so that's typically how I think that's how their reactors work, is that it's sort of like a fusion scenario of where it uses power, but it actually creates more power than it uses in net gain. And so
there's a net gain, but it's even using it to power the ship, there's still too much of a net gain.
And so as long as they're using the core, they can't dump it because they're also going faster than light, and that would like tear arcs out of their ship if they tried dumping the electricity while they're going faster than light.
Of course, none of that matters, and all of it was retconned for Andromeda.
No,
Andromeda takes place like 100 years later.
No, I think it's significantly longer.
Yeah.
They shoved everyone into cryo to get to Andromeda.
Yeah, Andromeda, they launch right before Game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it still takes place like 100 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were in cryo, yes, but the tech is stuff that was invented like right then. It is bleeding edge, but it's shit that was around in Mass Effect 2.
Right.
So how is it ignoring the premise then?
No idea.
Well, then why'd you bring that up?
Yeah,
Why'd you?
Because I'm saying it's inconsistent.
but it's not.
But we're asking where it's
You didn't
inconsistent, and you
demonstrate
didn't
any
say anything.
inconsistencies.
They keep goals fasting and never hit the brakes. They never drop out until they hit a
Oh no, they
physical
did.
obstacle.
No,
Yeah,
they
they
did.
explicitly
They
said
had
that. Part of the reason
VI
it took so long.
to do it.
Yeah,
They
the
basically what
VIs
happened
just
is the VIs were programmed to take breaks, and then they would dump power, and they would reorient to make sure they're still heading towards the galaxy, and then they would go again.
Okay. I don't remember that. Then again, that game was so bad I tried to block it from my memory.
Yeah, I basically tried to 100% of as much of it as possible while I was beating it. It took me like 90 something hours. I streamed the whole thing.
Don't get me wrong, gameplay was great, but everything else was not great.
That's what I said. I was like, shockingly, I'm having a really fun time. It's just whenever I have to do the main quest, I'm suddenly hating it.
Yeah. The designer came on and literally said, "We made the characters ugly because virtue signaling."
Yeah. Yeah, it was really dumb. Also, they didn't have an option for white people until after day 1.
Listen, there's a lot of things that were really bad.
Oh
about
yeah,
that game.
on day 1, you could only play a white person if you went with the default option.
Yeah, no, the default option was the 2 white characters.
Yeah, you could not. If you went to go customize your character on day 1, you did not have any other skin tones that were white. You only had Indian, Asiatic, and black.
What? Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
They had to patch European skin tones into the game. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, so,
Here's what.
anyway, so yeah, the premise of this story was that they traveled 100 times the normal distance and went back in time. But that, by the premise of the technology itself, is literally impossible, since unlike almost every other warp technology in sci-fi, this one is quite literally explicit in exactly what its limitations are and what it can and can't do. It doesn't mess with time. It doesn't mess with dimensions. It doesn't mess with quantum physics. It doesn't mess with literally anything besides the mass of an object. And even assuming you had a drive core malfunction and it suddenly was capable of going 100 times the distance that it normally would have been, you're not a ship anymore. You are a molten ball of slag.
You are a weapon.
So I just thought the idea was incredibly fucking dumb. I thought the premise was insanely stupid and fundamentally showed the author had no understanding of the entire setting he was writing for. Also, what the fuck does that change? Random human ship that can't get into contact with their home species was filled with a bunch of eggheads who are testing new technology, which is, by the standards of the species they're saving, hundreds of years old, comes and saves, air quotes, a diplomatic excursion? What does that change? They can't get back to their species. Their species is still behind an unactivated relay.
Yeah. Like, okay, maybe you can get them off planet, but...
Yeah, they'd have to manually hoof it back to Earth.
It's so fucking dumb. It's just so fucking dumb. Anyway, so you know what? We're past 9 o'clock. It's like 9:10 now. It is a Tuesday, so we'll see everyone on Friday, because there is unfortunately always more, and it does always get worse.